Welcome to CRT Gaming Podcast, episode number 21, the Raiden Project. This is Jones, and with me are my good friends Dazpick and Gohan. Mr. Dazpick, do you have a hatred for the alien life form known as the crystals?
I think that's a fair assessment. After playing through this, yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment.
Yeah, I have a good hatred for him. Mr. Gohan, were you working alongside the Vanquish Crystal Defense to develop the purple hentai laser?
I had no idea the Raiden Project's lore was so deep.
Yeah, it was amazing. Deep. There was a story.
Let's just say, after a week of playing, I am a ace pilot of a Fighting Thunder squadron.
Excellent. Well, this game was chosen by you, Mr. Gohan, and you specifically wanted us to play Raiden II from the Raiden Project. So could you take us through why you chose this game for us?
This arcade game never made its round to the arcades where we lived at the time, and I really only got to check out Raiden on the PlayStation. And early on in the PlayStation 1's hardware cycle, Sony was very, ardent about getting all the developers to make 3D graphics that showcased all the features of the system. And the one kind of 2D game at launch, kind of alongside Rayman, was the Raiden Project. And it was just such an awesome kind of arcade shooter experience that you could finally play at home, and it was awesome because the co-op aspect of it, and there wasn't a whole lot of co-op games for the PlayStation early going. So yeah, this game to me is kind of like the early PlayStation classic.
Great, yeah, this is one that I remember back when it came out. I honestly didn't care for it much back then. It to me, it reminded me a lot of, I know it's different, but it reminded me a lot of Exevious, which was another overhead shooter, but it was just a bunch of green and brown color with metal colored enemies. That's what my impression of it was back then. So I kind of passed on it. And
I agree with that, by the way, but go ahead. That game was pretty drab. But anyways,
yeah, so my impression was it was just a drab shooter. It was something I wasn't generally interested in. I do like overhead shooters, but my one problem that I've always had with them is I'm not sure what I can fly over and what I cannot. So therefore I fly over nothing. Just because sometimes you fly over something and you die, and to me that's always a lot easier to visually verify on a horizontal scroller, because get near nothing.
Yeah, what your altitude is.
Yeah, exactly. But having gone back and played this now, I have a better appreciation for it, and I was happy to see a little bit later in the game that the scenery finally changed, and then it got a lot more interesting to me, because when I first started playing it, I kind of had the initial same impression. It's very just bland, as far as just the colors go. It's just it's brown, it's green, it's metal. But
it's like you're heli with an airplane.
With an airplane, but then you go into space and everything, and it gets a lot more hectic, which I enjoyed, and I was also frustrated with. This is we played Musha last week, and to me, Musha was exponentially easier than this game, to me at least. How did you guys fare with the difficulty of the game?
I'm with you. When Raiden was never one that was really on my radar. I saw it, wasn't really, I played it, it was fine. It was a overhead shooter, but it had the one thing that arcade shooters have in common, and that's quarter muncher difficulty. Because you're there to pump more quarters into the game to finish it. You're not supposed to put a token in and fly through the game and beat a shot, you know? Whereas a game that's made for the home console plays a little differently, like Musha. Yeah, you're basically paying to win. I didn't really love that. But having finished it, I did enjoy it more than I did before, but there's still assload of cheap shots. Even with your Legend of the Overfiend weapon firing all over the place. Yeah, that I mean, it's the quarter muncher difficult bit. I'm just like a bullet hell shooter, and the bullets move slow enough that it's more of a puzzle of navigation. You know, you're trying to work your way through, and even though the screen is completely covered up, there's a pathway. In this, your ship moves slower than the bullets are coming at you, so you end up just getting drilled. You don't always have a way out. Again, I mean, it's designed that way so you put more quarters into it.
Yeah, it's like an older school like memorization. Like if
Yes.
I had, you know, if we had the time and this was a game that I had, you know, and I played it for a
Right.
month, it'd be a lot easier. But when I gotta, you know, plow through it in a couple days,
Yes.
yeah, you want to throw something at times. Cause,
Yeah.
Because some of the like, my one gripe with it is like you mentioned, you know, it's a quarter muncher. So generally in most games, like as you advance, things you destroyed are gone. So if something's ahead of you and you blow it up, you know, you ain't got to worry about it again. But this game at times did have things, you know, as you're progressing through the level that would come from the bottom of the screen. You know, like after you destroyed a wave of stuff, there would be like a stray tank that decides to come out backwards, you know.
The fuck you tank.
Yeah, of the hangar, you know, and then like he shoots you and then it's like, oh, it's like I'm not even looking down there, you know.
Yeah. Thought I was done with that shit.
Thought I was done with that. Thought, you know, thought the world was safe behind me.
No, revenge is bitter in this game. The Crystal Army never forgets.
It definitely. This takes place in the year 2090, so you know, going how things currently are, maybe the Crystal Army will invade us. Maybe if we're still around.
I, for one,
Yeah.
welcome our Crystal Overlords.
We've got the Overfiend to look forward to then.
I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit. Yes, it definitely is a quarter muncher game, but I think one of the things that it did was, even when you set the game to like 3, 6, or 9 continues, it was strangely balanced as a single player game, where it's like, yeah, you could eat through enough ships and still beat the game.
Beg to differ.
I beg to differ, my friend.
I don't know. Maybe you know, Jones, you said something, you know, offline, which was like the muscle memory in these types of games, and I absolutely think there's something to that. Like the way that Daz jumped back into Musha and was like, oh yeah, you didn't even miss a beat. But you know, these games definitely require that plus, like you said, memorization.
Well, it's that like for example, the giant purple laser. I can totally understand that's the weapon you want to use. Just the like the way you have to like lock onto an enemy and then coil the snake around to smash everything.
It's hot.
That takes like some technique to it that I did not get the chance to master in the sense. So I kind of went with the spread shot for the most of the game. That's kind of
Spread shot's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, when you did get the purple, you know, flipping and flopping, it crushed stuff. But it usually went bad for me. Like, I would have like, you know, 30 seconds of like hero footage followed by, you know, an explosion of myself.
Like the people who play it online, apparently that you know, or just like march through the game. Apparently, the spread shot is the gun, you know, to use. So,
I mean, you just hang in the back and just take a nap. Everything's getting hit. I mean, it's like, cool, man. I'll just do this for a while. I will say I did pick up the Raiden Legacy just because I didn't know if it was in that as well. And this Raiden 2 is not in there. It has Raiden and then Raiden Fighters, which is different. But yeah, they're all very similar. I think in the newer ones you get to select different ships that have different speeds, which was nice.
Yeah, I think this is the only version of Raiden 2 that exists that you can actually purchase. But yeah, when you did mention they were having that sale on Steam, like I said, I will say this, Gohan, I enjoyed it enough that I bought the rest of the Raiden games because they were on sale. Yeah. I bought the Legacy, Raiden 3, Raiden 4, and Raiden 5. I think I spent $15 on everything. So
there's $15 just went into Seibu Kaihatsu's Steam account.
Yeah, it did.
In the Raiden fund.
Yeah, well, it's hard to turn it down for, it's like 75, 85% off. And like I said, it's not bad. I enjoyed it. I did. It was just, it was frustrating at times.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Because when I first started, I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm going to get through this game. But I pulled it off.
When I turned it on last week, when we first talked about this, and I was playing through it, I was like, I mean, I wasn't saying it, but I was giving that game the finger. The middle one. I was not happy. Today it went a lot better, but man, I was livid.
Just gotta get good. Get good, Daz.
Okay, Busha. Let's talk about get good.
No,
I can't beat level 7, guys.
No, dude, no. I mean, I think there's something to that, which is the Musha you two took to, and it took me, everyone listening, like I was the one that was like lagging in third place on that game. Like I just could not hang with just the speed of the game. And I think for whatever reason, like Raiden is like more my speed. Granted, it's been a long time since I sat and played this. And Jones, you're thinking, like, yeah, if this was like my one game that I had, and I had a month to play it, I'd get good at it. But man, even with this game at its slower pace, it still just beat the living shit. I mean, the entire way through. So it was not quite the return to form that Daz's playthrough of Musha was.
Yes, I took it the distance. Did you just complete the mission 1, or did you like let it? See, because like when you beat it, like you land on like the Vanquish Crystal Defense team.
Yes, it's like the Avengers flying.
Yeah, their helicarrier.
It's the USS Flag of.
That took off into space.
The Raiden world.
Level 8, I think it was mission 8. I finished.
Yeah, and that was our goal, right?
And then it started over
through the first.
Yes, it goes to mission 2, which is the same game again, and just amps up, and then it goes to 3, and I quit after 3.
I quit after 1.
Wow, I quit after 1.
Yeah.
I'm looking for an ending.
Okay, Tiger Heli.
This is your Tiger Heli moment.
Yeah. But like, when I started over, I was like super powered up, and then like it didn't get hard again till like when you go to space.
What's different? What's different, Jones? Is it just like faster and they take more damage, or what happens? Is it just
the main thing I noticed is you get different like power-ups. Like when I played it through on the like mission 1, you can pick up like different items, like the weapons, for example. And then there's ones where you have missiles, or like heat-seeking missiles. Mm-hmm. And then you would have like bombs, which are like kind of like smart bombs. And then there's kind of like this bunker buster cluster bomb. You would get a different type of power-up called it's just P. It looks like a bomb, but it says a P on it. And when you pick it up, you're at full power. It's like,
right.
Yeah. And like that was a lot more prevalent on the other playthroughs, like mission 2 and 3. But I think it was the same. It didn't seem harder to me. Yeah.
I was getting, I hate to say it this way, I was getting that P power up. I was getting a fair bit on the first playthrough. And I started to play through it again, and it just didn't seem any different to me. So I just kind of went through the first level, beat it, and just turned it off.
Game over, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mission 8, you like fly into the sun and land back on the super carrier thing, and it's like that's beating the game.
I mean, no, yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I did. That's what I'm saying. I did that, and then it started back over.
And
I
it
was
takes
like,
off again. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he
Land
just,
a stop for a beer. I mean, come on, bro.
dude. I mean, he has to go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's got a bucket in the plane.
It's got like a
Just a
There's no-
2-liter soda bottle.
there's not Mountain Dew in that water bottle.
That is the Raiden Project.
One thing I kind of did wish it had was a little bit more variety. Like I said, I used the spread shot a lot, and the spread shot didn't vary a whole lot in color compared to the enemy bullets. So like it would blend in a lot sometimes, but like the blue lasers and the purple, you could definitely distinguish, what's good, what's bad. But
Absolutely. It's the same thing that I felt in Musha with the power-ups or their laser shots. Like, could those have just been a different color? And I feel the exact same way about Raiden, which is like not only is the spread shot the same color as the bad guy's shot, but every once in a while you'll shoot down a bad guy and the debris coming off him is that color as well. So like I'll like psych myself out, like moving out of the way of debris that doesn't even hurt me. Basically, it's like shit that's on the ground.
yeah. I did enjoy the music to it. It had a catchy little tune that some games they'll have music that'll drive you into insanity. Like I said, when you die repeatedly and you're playing something over and over and over again. But this had a little, some catchy little tunes to it. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah, it definitely has this kind of upbeat 90s anime soundtrack that I think after playing Lords of Thunder with its awesome soundtrack, it would have been great to have heard like Raiden and Musha's soundtrack through actual CD audio. But the soundtrack's serviceable. It isn't like one of those like hardcore heart pounding things. I think that would just make a concentration needed in this game just really hard to deal with.
So what were your guys's, or you Gohan? I think Daz said he used the spread shot a lot. What was your favorite weapon of the game?
I think playing through the game, I would alternate. Like that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about Musha and this game was it actually switching the weapons up was kind of a fun part of the game, and definitely some benefited more than others. But I think the most fun one to use is the purple gun. That, like you're saying, it's like, you're kind of like, it's like this whip, right? So it's like, you may have like a big like target that you're trying to hit, but trying to like bend the whip so that like the other guys, flying in, the other pattern guys or other subships are getting hit
With the shaft.
Tanks. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, well, it's kind of like, I mean, seriously, it's like this like wall. It's like this fire hose that you're trying to like bat the guys back with, and it's. Did you two get to play the first game at all on the disc, Raiden 1?
I played it on the Legacy.
Oh, right on. That game, like. It only has, as far as I know, it only has two weapons. It has the spread and the blue
laser
weapon, the laser weapon. Raiden's one of those series that in the West, it wasn't a huge part of the arcade culture, here in the United States. But it's kind of crazy to think when this game actually came out in Japanese arcades, it was actually the number one arcade game in terms of like units sold the year that it came out. And this is in the time of Street Fighter and the fighting game craze and just what that meant for the arcades overseas. So Raiden is really big over in the East and game centers over there. So
Clearly, they didn't spend any time playing Tiger Heli. Just saying. I mean, I used the purple gun the majority, but I did try to see like what the point was of the blue gun.
The blue gun plus the
high damage,
the straight ahead.
Yeah,
high damage. That plus the dumbfire rockets, the non-seeking ones. Like you can just like cut it one of those bigger kind of capital ships like in half, like just with a few shots. So
for what I found, it was really useful, like in space when all those asteroids are coming at you.
That's a good example.
The blue one was just ripping through that, where the purple one was having some difficulties.
The purple gun is not a super high damage. Like actually, the spread gun does more damage, I think, than the purple gun does. But absolutely, that section, like you're saying, when you go in, you leave orbit or whatever, and you have this kind of meteor shower thing, like the blue weapon just like
it just rips
through that stuff. Yeah, like if you have the purple gun there, like you're kind of at a massive disadvantage.
You're whipping it around a lot.
Yeah,
I was playing with it. Yeah, in the asteroid field. But that's when I started to enjoy the game a lot more as soon as we left orbit, just because it got a lot more variety as far as what I was doing or seeing, and then the game appeared to get a lot more amped as far as what they were throwing at you, as opposed to just it being difficult. It's now difficult and hectic.
Yeah,
but I did. I'm glad you chose this one, because this is something that I probably wouldn't have gone back and played on my own, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I enjoyed it afterwards.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't ultimately end up enjoying it. I was not looking forward to playing it, because like I said, it was never one that I really like. I'd seen Raiden a million times. I played it a little bit, and I was like, okay. To me, it felt like, I think Truxton was also an arcade game, and it played like an arcade game, and so I wasn't a big fan. But no, I did enjoy it, finishing it. Didn't bother with a second playthrough, but yeah. And the other ones are, like I said, the newer ones are pretty cool, because you've got like different speeds, which that was, I think.
Yeah, it's like different speeds, different ships, like, and there's like different weapons.
Well,
they definitely, it seemed like they lean more into kind of the customization and all that.
Well, yeah, they say that there's a defense like rating on the ships, but they all go down in one hit, so I don't know what the hell the point of that is. It's like, this one's stronger in one shot, it'll still die.
Like, no, that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, that doesn't really gel there, Chief. So maybe I'm totally misreading the stats, but DEF means defense to me, and yeah, all of them still explode with one little tiny bullet.
They're all still made in China. So, Mr. Dazpick, if you had to put some type of rating or ranking on this game, how would the Raiden Project fare?
7-ish. Yeah, 7. I mean, just like I said, it was. I didn't hate it. There's things I didn't like about it. I definitely liked it more as I played through the whole thing. And after I finished it, I mean, I kept playing for a while, so it obviously I had engaged with the game enough to keep wanting to play it. Yeah, right around there. I mean, the music was okay. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't annoying, but like you said, like the scenery is very similar as you're playing through it until the very end when it starts to change up. Yeah, I definitely like it better than before today.
Oh, yeah, I would pretty much echo your entire statement. I liked it a lot more today than I did previously. Mm-hmm. And I give it a 7, 7.5, maybe an 8. I mean, it's a solid shooter. I had a good time with it. And, well, how about you, Mr. Gohan? How does this rate in your stack of shooters?
When we were playing Lords of Thunder, there's a lot of chatter, through the week playing it. And definitely with Musha there was as well. there wasn't as much chatter this week. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. After playing the game years and years later, while it's a super faithful recreation of the arcade experience, I would probably rate it at like an 8. If they were to do kind of like with Musha, if they were to do a Red Book audio soundtrack for this back in the day, maybe would have moved it to like 8.5, for me. But I think as it is right now, even with the rose-colored glasses, it's an 8 as a shooter for me.
Yeah. Just for the record, I was radio silent because I was just really slammed with work. So that was the only reason. I didn't get the chance to play
there's so much that people are not privy to of us just sniping at each other and how poorly one another are doing at the game that we've got chosen per week. So.
Well, I wasn't getting here and not getting through this game. I wasn't coming to the table accepting defeat. So
we all have our shooter credentials at least for the next year.
Yeah, it got beat. So.
It got beat.
That is the most important thing. Next week, we're going to start a new trilogy of games, and Dazpick has been itching to select a genre for us. So let's go ahead and give that man the floor, and see what sticks, what happens here.
All right. Well. We've been doing a lot of like really old stuff. Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, PS1. I don't want to go still retro, but a little further down the line. The third-person action games. Now, that's for y'all to think about, but I've already got mine picked out. So, fun little
third-person action games.
Yes, third person.
It doesn't get any more vague than that.
Third person shooter. How's that?
Coded in C+.
It's on a computer. There's sound.
Do with this what you will. I will say, you may want to, go PlayStation 2, Xbox era, because that's about when they started actually getting, 3D was becoming more of a good thing about that point.
Yeah, good 3D cameras were starting to kind of find their way into games around that time.
So there was one little chestnut that I really enjoyed was Max Payne 2. I love the first one, but I really, really enjoyed the second one just because it was more of a John Woo movie than the first one with the gun ballet action that was happening with the spins and everything, and it was freaking awesome. So that's my choice for third person.
There are a lot of different versions of Max Payne 2. What would you prefer us to play?
You can play it on PC.
PC? All right.
Yeah, I think it's on Steam for like $3 or something.
I guess stay tuned next week, and we will take the endeavors of Mark Wahlberg and play Max Payne 2.
Screw that guy. No.
Mark versus
terrible movie.
The underworld of Funky Bunch.
God.
Oh,
terrible.
I got good vibrations just thinking about this thing.
Now this game series is awesome. I played the living shit out of the first Max Payne game. The second one, I never got a chance to play, so this should be awesome.
Oh, it's great. Second one's awesome.
Stick around next week, and maybe you'll see what me or Gohan comes up for a third-person action game. Well, until then, this is Jones with Dazpick and Gohan, and we are signing out.
Until next time.